The reason I introduced the Caesar cipher at this point is because we're going to have to start to think about how we display different locations in the alphabet. Let's start with code that you are reasonably familiar with. We have a message, and we have this special piece of text I've introduced on several days where you can display a character from that message at a particular location. So 1 here corresponds to X because E would be 0, P is 2, E is 3. You can try and work out, if you like, pause the video for a few seconds, what the character from message at 15 will display as on the microbit screen, what will be shown. So all of this should be familiar. When I press play, we'll see the character from the message at index or location 1, which is X, and then we'll see the character from the message at location 15, which is the H in the word the. So far, I hope, so good. But we're going to have to be able to do the reverse. So far, we know how to display a character at a particular location. We're also going to have to be able to ask, what location is a character at? What I mean by that is, consider the alphabet. So now, in addition to message, we have something called alphabet. If you liked, you could display the character from alphabet at 1, which would now be B instead of what we were originally displaying. There you go. But let's go put this back to message. So we need to be able to say, okay, where in the alphabet is D? What location is it at? You can see by eye it's at 0, 1, 2, 3. But rather than saying, give me the character at location 3, we're going to have to be able to ask the question, what is the location that corresponds to the letter D or the letter T or the letter whatever? You can see why this might be important for the Caesar cipher, where we need to be able to say, give me the character at location 4, because we can then shift that location to location 7 and display a different letter. So how do we achieve that? It's basically the reverse of character from message at a particular location. We want location for the location for a particular character in a message. And there is a different text string, this thing here, which is the reverse of character from message at. Here, instead of displaying the character at a particular location, you're finding the location or index of a particular character. So here, for instance, I've chosen to display the location of E in alphabet. What about the location, the index of Z in this string alphabet? Well, it's right at the end. We start at 0, so it should be 25. So let's see how this looks when we start the microbit. We get the X and H as before, but then we display 4 and 25. Note that instead of showing a string, because the character somewhere in message or alphabet was a string, we're having to show a number because the location, the index, is a number. It's not a character. So this is the reverse of this. So armed with this additional information, and this is going to probably be the hardest task I set you this week. So even if you just achieve the first question and none of the stretch goals, you'll be doing very well. I want you to take the phrase, experience is the teacher of all things, a phrase attributed to Julius Caesar, and try to show on the microbit screen the letter and the location of the letter in the alphabet in that phrase. So what I mean by that is for E, you would show 4, and then you'd show X, and then you would show 23. You're going to need a for loop because you're going to have to loop through the message, experience is the teacher of all things. And you're going to have to combine the character from message and the alphabet find index in a new way, which I'm going to leave you to try and determine, to be able to print both the character at a particular index and the location that that character appears in the alphabet. So loop through experiences the teacher of all things using a for loop. Display, say for E, find out what the, display the character because you know the index is 0. And then once you know the character is E that you're interested in, look up in the alphabet using find index of E and display that index, display that location in the alphabet. Remember the for loop and give that a go. If you achieve this goal, if you manage to complete this task in the next 30 to 35 minutes, here are also a couple of stretch goals. You'll find the basic way that you will, I think, that you will attempt this task, you're going to find that the spaces are problematic. You're going to display -1 because it doesn't know the index of the space. So try to fix this. Don't print the index to the screen for the spaces. Just print it for the letters as you loop through. This will require an if-else statement. And you're also going to find that the indexes are probably one off from what you normally expect. I've said E is 4 and X is 23. So try and fix that. So for E, display 5 instead of 4. And for X, display 24 instead of 23. And so on. So try those those 3 goals, the main goal and then the 2 stretch goals. And I'll come back in about 30 to 35 minutes and show you how I would answer these sorts of questions.